Well, my mother went twice a week, silent movies, so I saw all of Lon Chaney's films, and I just loved them. Hunchback of Notre Dame, Phantom of the Opera in 1925, The Lost World with Dinosaurs 1925. So all these metaphors stuck in my head. Huh? And then along through time, the science fiction magazines began to appear, 1927, 28 Amazing Stories, with the fabulous covers of future cities, you know? And I wanted to slip into the magazine and live in those cities. Huh? So it began with a love of metaphors and the future cities, and then Buck Rogers came along, and I took a look at that one strip on a single day in October when I was 9 years old. I said, that's where I belong. I'm going to go to the future, and I'm never coming back. And I started writing 3 years later. The Martian Chronicles is a fantasy, a mythological fantasy, based on the influence of Tutankhamun and Greek and Roman myths. I've always been in love with those. So Martian Chronicles is full of intuitive remembrances of Greek and Roman myths and Tutankhamun. When I was putting on the Martian Chronicles at the El Rey Theater on Wilshire 20 years ago, I had my Martians on stage with golden masks and wonderful costumes. I walked west 6 blocks to the County Museum and walked into the King Tut exhibit. Remember when that was there 20 years ago? And I looked at the golden mask of King Tut. I said, my God, those are my Martians. And then I walked back to the theater and I said, there's King Tut. So you see, it's all interlocked from the age of 3 to the age of in my 60s when I put the play on. So it's all of a piece. I would inspire the young people to read by firing most of the first grade teachers. They're not teaching reading. It should be done in kindergarten and the first grade. And when I talk to a bunch of, now all you first grade teachers out there who are listening to me, who are good teachers, I'm not talking to you. But I'm talking to those teachers who do not, by the end of kindergarten and the first grade, teach reading absolutely. It shouldn't be taught in the 2nd grade or the 8th grade or the 12th grade. I talked to a group of teachers of gifted students in Houston last year, 5,000 of them, and I got them to come with me because you can't criticize the whole system. The whole system isn't responsible. It's the first grade and kindergarten that they're not doing their job. I said, come with me, and we'll all point at the first grade teachers and say, pull up your socks. Get the work done. It has nothing to do with money, It has to do with dedication, passion, will, love, Are you in love with teaching? If not, get the hell out, Well, I got a standing ovation. People often say to me, are you an optimist? I say, no, that's a lie. Are you a pessimist? I say, no, that's a lie. They're both fraudulent ways of looking at life. They say, what are you then? I said, I'm an optimal behaviorist. All I ask of all of you is you behave at the top of your lungs every day of your life, being in love with what you're doing. And because you behave optimally then, for 1,000 days in a row, you gotta feel darn good about yourself. Right, Now, if you don't do your work, that's where depression comes from. That's where disbelief comes from. But if you're working every single day at what you love, you can't go wrong.
Sharp in a year, okay?
Yeah. There you go. Sure. Hi there.